Con Dadit.io la blockchain è alla portata di tutti, permettendo ad aziende, professionisti e pubblica amministrazione di attestare e dimostrare l'esistenza e l'originalità di un documento in un determinato momento. Scopri di più su Dadit.io.
Welcome, Sunny. Sunny Liu is the CEO of VChain, and it's an honor to have him with us today.
Much for inviting me here. I'm very glad to be part of this.
So, Sunny, just a simple starting question. If you could give us a short description of VChain for any beginner coming into this space who maybe doesn't know exactly what it is.
Yeah, sure. VChain is a public blockchain platform. Start in 2017, and we launched the mainnet 2018. We have been focused on building up enterprise applications. We are enablers, which means we enable different builders, most likely for enterprise, to build the different applications to serve the real value to the real world.
Perfect. So, yes, as you said, you are looking to bring real value in the real world. So what I was going to ask is that from the beginning, VChain has moved successfully from the proof of concept, which is what we very often see in the European market, to being adopted by major enterprises and assurance companies already. So to say it in the way that your white paper states it, you've reached a business consensus. So how did this last year go? How did 2020 go? And what were the major initiatives and news in the VChain ecosystem?
Actually, well, as everybody knows, 2020 is a very tough, very weird year for everyone. For sure, due to the COVID-19 impacts and also the following potential economic impacts, we have been slowing down from the beginning. But also, firstly, thanks for the China market has been recovered pretty fast. And also we have been shifting our strategy to try to find out the best way to cooperate or to adopt the situation like post-COVID-19 situation. So we have done pretty well actually for 2020. Especially to respond to COVID-19, we have been building up MyCare, VTrust, this kind of application using blockchain technology with DMVGO together to help the different entities, to help the different, even the governments to fight against COVID-19. So let's say, honestly, I think the COVID-19 is a disaster, but also it could be an opportunity. People have been talking about digitalization more than before. Even there is a vote in Twitter to say who is the major force. People choose COVID-19. More people feel like the digitalization should be done yesterday, not today or even tomorrow. So yeah, we kind of see this kind of opportunity to even for the older initiative like My Story with DMVGO or food safety traceability, it's also kind of answer the way like how to deal with global trading in the post of COVID-19 situation.
Of course, because as you often have pointed out, VChain has to enable real economy. And I was going to ask you exactly about traceability. Because we've also read that a few months ago, VChain has joined the China Animal Health and Food Safety Alliance. And I was going to ask you exactly if you could explain a little bit what you think is the value of this traceability project, since that sometimes in Italy they're a little controversial.
Yeah, sure. CAFA is a government-backed organization directly under the Chinese National Agriculture Science Technology Innovation Alliance. I'm sorry, it's really a long name. Who actually wants to connect the government, industrial associations, producer enterprise and the research institute, in the food sector, especially in the food sector, focus on food safety. I think there are more than 130 enterprise members of the CAFA will be capable of logging key processes of food procedures onto the blockchain in an immutable and a secure way, and also bridging trust between consumers and enterprises. The traceability can start from, cultivation, processing, packaging, logistic, even to retail, and even to the consumer, like for the after service, something like that. Especially during the COVID-19 or after COVID-19, people will care more about food safety. That's like normal sense. And also, only recently, Chinese government has released several new policies, focus on like cold chain logistic, focus on the origin of food safety or origin of the products, especially like for the overseas trading, to help different cities, different places, different organizations or entities to prevent the spreading of the virus or possible spreading of the virus. There are several cases has been reported in the past, like some shrimp or salmon fish coming from the different places by carrying the virus or test positive for COVID-19. It kind of caused a little, vibe or little tribes in the different cities like Qingdao. But the good thing is, Chinese government have a very strict policy and very responsive actions to limit the spreading, but still it's kind of scary. So caring about origins of the food, or even find out if the packaging has been testing COVID-19 before they shipping out to China, that kind of the policy has been implemented. So I think, whatever blockchain can do or whatever VChain can do, it definitely can help on that. Actually, we're quite exciting for this kind of new policy. That means there are more and more business opportunities for us.
Of course. So you can track all the process and the controlling of the food and like shipping and before that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've lived in Qingdao for a while, so when you mentioned
it, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool city. So
very nice city.
Yeah, very nice. It was a few years ago, and I've been there since 4 years. But I guess it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
So what was I going to ask you is that we're talking about Chinese government and the policies that they have, especially now during the COVID-19 and the traceability. Mm-hmm. And we've also seen that in line with the Chinese government's 14th five-year plan for the economic and societal development, you have worked towards the building up of the first blockchain intelligent tumor treatment center, which is powered by VChain, and that struck me a lot because it's not like the usual case study that we see. Can you tell us more?
Sure. Actually, it's one of the strategy shifting from, we're shifting the focus more to not only food safety, sustainability, but also directly linked to, healthcare, pharmaceutical, because, people will care more about the traceability things and also how to be safe, how to be healthy, that kind of concept. So, firstly, the project just gets started. It's actually quite a big project. It could take very long time, especially in health industry.
Everything is super fast. So.
Yes. So, but the Intelligent Tumor Treatment Center announced that recently is a transparent and efficient and traceable medical management solution powered by not only VChain itself, but also DNVGL. Actually, DNVGL play a very important role. They have been doing quite good in the healthcare sectors, especially this year. They provide expertise like how to management, like public safety and healthcare, especially in the hospital management. they have expertise about the process adoption, especially according to emergency or like a COVID-19 situation. So we're aiming to cover the full life cycle management of the tumor treatment process in the Renji Hospital. They have been very, very innovative. Honestly, I'm amazed. Which, you know, that will improve the efficiency of the hospital management. So the doctor, you know, that maybe the healthcare system is not the same, especially in China to the Western world. You know, I have been visiting the hospital in Western world. Usually you stay in a room and the different doctors will check on you, right?
Yeah.
But in China it's different. It's the doctor sitting in their room. Yeah, and you gotta go to the different room based on your conditions. But it's not really efficient. It is efficient, but you know, we could do better. So Renji Hospital, especially for those tumor patients, let's say, or cancer patients, they want to follow the entire life cycle. But how to make the new collaboration between the different departments, even could tweak the alerts based on the data of the patients. You know, the different department could actively respond about that. But you also need to, you know, make sure the data is secure, no one make the mistakes, and we also need to identify the responsibilities, especially not in the one hospital. Sometimes you gotta cross the different hospitals.
Yeah, and
in China, yeah, in China there is new trend about the hospital management. They create so-called alliance. So the different hospital could work in the alliance based on their own expertise. They can, you know, working together to provide the better service to the patients. So yeah, so definitely we're aiming for that kind of thing. We're gonna make the blockchain to support the new system or new tumor treatment center to make the smart treatment, that kind of the system. So it's honestly, it's quite ambitious goal for everyone, not only for us, but also for Renji and for DMVGO. I think we may play the smallest role in this kind of big project. Business focus is more important, yeah, than the technology.
But which is quite important as well, I would say. So, and thank you for explaining us a little bit about that. I would like to go with this next question a step back. Like, let's say that since VChain was and is still very much geared towards business organizations, you know, till a few years ago, and maybe sometimes even now, private blockchains were the choice of firms when approaching this world. So you offer something which competes with private blockchains by having the qualities of public permissionless blockchains. We're seeing that more and more companies are looking into public blockchains. Do you think this is going to happen even more, maybe enabled by VChain, and if so, why?
Yeah, sure. Actually, to answer this question, I can tell you a story. Like a couple of years ago, I had a very interesting conversation with Mr. David Post. He was the head of blockchain labs in IBM. You know, IBM has been really devoted themselves to Hyperledger, which is like a private or consortium blockchain or public blockchain. So I had a very interesting conversation with David. And I asked him the same question, like, how do you think about, you know, the future, right? What is a public blockchain versus private blockchain, that kind of thing. You know, I was expecting he would definitely say, wow, you know, the private blockchain for sure for different enterprises, because that's IBM's offerings. But actually, surprisingly, he said he believes the future is kind of like a mixed. There is some public blockchain carry on. You know, those applications requires high level of trust and the high level of collaboration between the different enterprises, even among the competitors. But also there were some, like, you know, private blockchain or consortium blockchain within certain scenarios. I totally believe that. I totally agree with him as well about that. I think the future is totally mixed based on the different needs and requirements. you can refer to like a cloud business. You know, when the cloud concept has been interestingly, cloud was mentioned about, was brought out to the world by IBM as well, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know, but now when you think about the cloud, you can see there is a public cloud, there is a private cloud. But for sure, at the early beginning, I remember that like 20 years ago, I was a network engineer, and I was working on some cases, some projects for the different enterprise to build up their private cloud. Like, you know, they set up their own IDC, they set up their own servers, and years later, they find out, wow, it's too costly. Not only about setting up, but also, you know, to do the maintenance. It's very costly. And public cloud is more convenient and very cost effective. And why we don't choose that? For sure, there are still some enterprise like banks, you know, they prefer to set up their own private cloud because of the confidentiality or the security. But more and more enterprise are using public cloud for now. So I think for blockchain is no different. It's no different.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is also our way of thinking about that. But I'd like to ask you, since all we have said, and since I'm talking to you and VChain is very mature in terms of enterprise development, what do you think is missing in blockchain adoption, mass adoption, like for the general public?
For blockchain adoption, firstly, I believe the future. I believe, you know, blockchain is like internet. Maybe the first beginning it was tough, but with more proper tools and services, it will go to everybody. It will go to the world, the whole world. Maybe impact or change your daily life. But blockchain is kind of like infrastructure level technology. When I refer to internet, it's not like 100% accurate. More accurately, I think the blockchain is more like TCP/IP to internet. You know, internet, when people think about internet, usually think about applications, Facebook, Twitter, Google, that kind of applications. But underlying all of the applications, it's protocols, it's technologies, right? So blockchain is the same. We're just in the early phase about the blockchain, so people are more talk about blockchain itself, but less application, right? But in the future, people were not, maybe people were not talk about blockchain anymore, but talk about like A application or B application or C application, more like to your daily life. Yeah, something like that. So I believe adoption of blockchain technology will follow the same path of the internet, based on following, you know, like very powerful, very good use, friendly applications or tools, like email and a browser, which was invented and it exploded, you know, the internet developments. So blockchain the same. Maybe the food safety, maybe the traceability, or maybe even directly to people's you know, daily usage will really speed up the application. For example, we have done something with Walmart China, and now the Walmart user get that kind of a habit. Before they buy that, they were always using the smartphone, try to scan something to find out, you know, the traceability, the origins of the food, and then they feel safe. So these kind of habits will take time, but eventually get there.
So the more we build user-friendly application, real business cases, the more like blockchain adoption will be pushed. You're saying, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, okay. So the next question would be, what we have to expect from VChain in 2021? What is the roadmap of technological development in the future? What are the next steps? If you can talk about that with us.
Well, we have been doing the same, like for the last 4 or 5 years, for sure, in a different stage, based on like how familiar of the market, the entire market, or what is a policy from government, or COVID-19 or not. But we didn't change too much. We still stick on the rules, like promoting blockchain to the real business, or transform the technology value like a blockchain to be a business value, to really serve the people, serve the enterprises. So we didn't change that, and we don't want to change that. We're gonna continue insist on or stick on this kind of path. For sure, for 2021, we're gonna continue to scale up for tools and services. Like I mentioned, VChain is an enabler. We need to make sure we provide enough tools and services to enable different business builders to build the different applications, so can really bring the technology to the real world. So from business application point of view, we're gonna scale up the VChain as our SaaS platform to enable the different people, not only big enterprise but small enterprise, can build a blockchain application like very, very quickly. I'm not talking about the months. I'm talking like 1 or 2 weeks. You can have your own blockchain application with VChain as a SaaS platform. But also, we don't underestimate the importance of technology itself. So underlying blockchain platform, we're gonna continue to build up, continue to upgrade our consensus, like a POA 2.0. And also we're gonna continue to build user-friendly features for developers, not only for business developers, but also for technical developers, to make sure whatever the big enterprise or small startup, they can have handy tool or convenient service to launch their business on the blockchain very easily. So that's major task for 2021. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been an honor to be here with you talking about VChain. I think we have reached the end of the interview, the time we had together. So thank you very much for being here, Sunny, again.
Thank you very much for that.
Ciao e benvenuto in questo breve tutorial. Scopriamo insieme come funziona Dedit, la piattaforma che ti permette di notarizzare facilmente tutti i tuoi file sulla blockchain. Trascina un file sulla pagina o clicca sul pulsante per sceglierlo dal tuo device. Se non è mai stato notarizzato, procedi cliccando su Registra. Personalizza la registrazione inserendo una breve descrizione. Scegli la blockchain che preferisci e se vuoi custodire il tuo file, in cloud. Se non hai già sottoscritto un piano, scegli il metodo di pagamento. E voilà, la tua registrazione è pronta. Puoi invitare altre persone a firmare la transazione generando un link, direttamente dalla piattaforma. Puoi anche scaricare un certificato della notarizzazione o decidere di inviarlo a chi è interessato, semplicemente inviando una mail da Dedit. Adesso puoi tornare direttamente allo storico delle transazioni, dove puoi controllare tutti i tuoi dettagli di quella appena avvenuta. Se hai scelto di custodire il file originale, puoi scaricarlo in ogni momento dalla sezione Custodia del tuo profilo. Nella tua dashboard personale puoi anche controllare tutti i tuoi pagamenti e gestire le impostazioni del tuo account. Cosa aspetti a notarizzare i tuoi documenti su Dedit? Scopri di più su dedit.io.